I like to announce that. Do you all wish to have a bad time? Because if you click on any further, well, you're really not gonna like what happens next. I'll give you 5 seconds to leave. It would seem you'd rather face what is about to happen. Well, sorry, Lady Ashley. This is why you're never allowed to make promises like this. Well, all I can say is, it sure is a beautiful day outside. Birds are tweeting. Plants are weaving. In seasons like these, human insects like you should be ready for Red. Demiurge! I thought I told you not to scare people like that! Well, I was just simply getting people in the mood for what they're about to face. Well, your service is no longer needed right now. Thank you. I am always eager to please, my lady. Alright, everyone. This is it. The final showdown with Red. Let us not wait any longer. Let us see what he's got. But if you're probably wondering, but Ashley, can he kill you with one hit? Don't worry. That won't be possible anymore. Godzilla NES, Chapter 8.
Oh, dear
Red.
God.
Even just phasing it was just
was my first
real
thought
heart beating
on
indeed.
realizing I would have to fight Red, the
Yes.
creature that had tormented me through nearly the entire game.
The
How
devil
would I be able to fight
himself of
something
this
that
game.
can kill me with one touch? It
Yeah.
seemed totally impossible. Thankfully, Red was no longer able to deliver one-hit kills.
See?
But despite that, this was still the most difficult battle I've ever faced.
Yeah.
In this game or otherwise.
In this game, it's
If I had
kill
any
or
real
be
comprehension
killed.
of what I was getting into before I started the fight, I would never have done it. I very soon learned what a horrible mistake I had made. Red reached out and clawed at Godzilla, and when those claws cut through him, I felt it. I know that it's common for people to cringe up when the video game character gets hit or loses a life, but this was not that. This was genuine physical pain. When the pain struck me, I paused the game. I hadn't suffered any actual injuries, but it felt just like my shoulder had been clawed into. I had seen
your shoulder? I thought it was
experienced
just
many
the arm.
unpleasant things at this point, but the game causing me real pain was where I drew the line.
Well, drop
Yes,
the controller!
I would be
Get out of
disappointed that I
there!
didn't get to see the ending, but the risk was no longer worth it. I was about to get up to take one last screenshot and turn off the NES when I realized something.
What?
I couldn't get up.
Ah, shoot!
I was paralyzed in my seat.
How?
The only muscle I could move were my fingers and thumbs. And as the terror set in, a new message appeared on the screen.
Red's talking.
I started to scream, but only a weak choking sound was coming out. I desperately tried to get my body to move, but it did nothing. I was looking in
Red's
every
just waiting
direction,
there?
and then I looked over at the computer.
Well, at least he's being polite
Somehow
about
the
it.
computer was taking screenshots of the game on its own when I began the fight. I still don't know how or why. Something in the game must have been causing it. Since Red could hear what I was saying, I tried begging for him to let me go. From here, things started to get hazy, as I was under extreme stress at the time. But from what I can remember, I said this. I'm sorry! I'm sorry I insulted you! I didn't mean it!
Demons with the color red is not a good thing.
Please just let me go!
Very powerful.
If you let me go, I promise I'll never tell anyone or turn the game on ever again, please! And Red
Try to reason
replied
with
by
him.
saying
Try
this.
to beg for mercy. Yeah.
That statement could not be any more clear.
Red makes it
If
clear.
I couldn't kill Red, then he would kill me. Like an idiot, I had played around with something I didn't understand, and now it might cost me my life.
Pretty much.
I stopped struggling to move and accepted the reality of the situation. There was only one way to get out of this alive. I had to kill Red.
It will not be
It all
easy.
went by so fast that if it weren't for the screenshots, I might not have remembered any of this. Just like in the chase levels, Red moved at horrifyingly fast speed. There was barely enough time to process a thought. And thus, there was no time to form a strategy.
Them
I had
legs,
to rely
man.
solely on my wits.
Let's
and
get
reflexes.
ready to
To
rumble,
make
as
things
Hades
worse,
would
there
say.
was no way to predict what kind of attacks Red might use, so I constantly had to be on the offensive and defensive. I felt every hit that Godzilla took.
Jeez.
They all hurt. I tried so hard to avoid the damage, but every attack that I dodged left me vulnerable to another, and the pain would only get worse. After he jumped over me, Red eyes started to glow. I moved as far back as I could and ducked, but there was no dodging this one.
Oh,
When
jeez.
this hit me, I
Ow.
really did scream. I screamed so loud that someone else in the apartment should have heard me, but they didn't.
Jeez.
Just looking at the image
You
hurts
called
me,
for help.
making me
but
remember
no
the
one came.
incinerating burn. I paused the game because it hurt so bad, but Red unpaused the game to attack me again.
I played by the rules so
Furious.
far.
I immediately counterattacked with a heat beam again and again until the power
But the
meter was
laughing
totally
is about to
diminished.
stop.
I wanted Red to hurt like I did. Just before the timer ran out,
Yeah.
Red transformed into his swimming form.
Wait,
I
why
didn't
would you
think
swim?
the timer would still be affecting a battle like this. I'm thankful for it, because it gave me a few minutes to collect my thoughts and decide what to do next. I chose to fight Red's next two forms with the monsters I had encountered them with, so Anguirus was next. It probably wasn't all that smart of an idea, but it's what I did. I
Payback?
jumped up and heat beamed Red in the face, and he moved off screen when I couldn't reach him. Then a wave of large mines started to fall from
Oh
above.
boy!
I felt this was unfair, so I shouted, "If you're going to cheat, then why you even let me use the controller?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he came at me, rushing
that was
from
a
the
bad
top left of the
impression.
screen downwards. Damn it! Now I wouldn't
Dang,
even be able to
not
see
here.
where his next attack was coming from. Red continued to strike from random angles. I constantly moved to swerve around him.
Ugh.
Another 40 seconds went by, and Anguirus was nearly gone. But together, we had forced Red into his flying form, so it was Mothra's next turn.
Oh boy.
Deciding to fight Red with Mothra was a terrible idea.
Ooh,
Mothra
bad!
was instantly overwhelmed by Red, and the life meter was devastated in a mere 15 seconds. And once Mothra's life was down to 2 bars,
Huh?
Red did something I didn't see coming.
You never saw it
Reached
coming, eh?
out, grabbed Mothra,
Oh god!
and ate her.
Well,
After
bugs are
Mothra was
nutritious
devoured,
in a
I
way!
felt an agonizing pain, like being crushed to death. Mothra had been killed for my stupidity, and I would share the pain. It was a short transition from the battle to the board, but it felt like an hour. The pain, combined with being unable to move, was driving me insane. I wanted so badly for this to end. I never wanted anything so much, but I still had hope. There was only one monster left that could be brought to full health by engaging Red in battle. Solomon.
Yes!
Any of them had a chance to save my life now, it would be him.
Oh.
Solomon apparently had some history with Red, as
They
when
knew
the
each
fight
other.
started.
Blue
this
demon versus
dialogue
red
happened.
demon. I always hated you. You don't like the rest.
I'd rather die than deserve you.
Yeah, I'd rather die.
Red took me
than
by
serve
surprise
you.
again by immediately burning me with his demonic fire a second time.
Jeez.
As much as it hurt, it actually worked to my advantage. Since Solomon started at full life, he still had some to spare. But
Yeah.
now Red had used up all his energy and could not use his ultimate weapon any longer. Now he would die.
Time to end this.
As he drew close to the end of his life bar, Red turned his whole body to face the screen and flew upwards, then slamming back down in an attempt to crush Solomon.
It's a skydive.
When that failed to work, he tried to devour Solomon like he had Mothra.
Oh,
But
no,
he
you don't.
wouldn't be eating my monster this time.
No.
I struck Red with one final blast of
Got
Solomon's
him!
heat beam. And he slunk to the ground, burning and withering from the heat beam.
Yeah.
I thought I had won.
But it's not over yet.
Red was
For this
sinking
isn't even
body,
his final
and I still
form!
couldn't move. Red was still alive.
Yeah. This. What?
After the seeming defeat by Solomon, Red had reconstructed his body into his gigantic final form,
Yeah.
transporting us to a blazing inferno in the process. It was reminiscent of our first encounter, except now the scenery,
This
much
is
like
way
the true
more
power of
intense
Red,
than what it
had become
should
very
be.
real. The music had erupted into a loud, blaring sound of a furious drum of death.
Yeah.
Faced against Red's insane amount of health, my own demise was imminent. Solomon was my strongest monster, but not even he stood a chance. It was like trying to fight a mountain.
Yeah.
Within seconds,
Jeez!
Solomon was overpowered and dropped to the floor when Red crushed him to death underneath his foot. The sadistic demon took his time as he snapped Solomon's vertebrae and ribs like dry, brittle twigs. I could tell he was enjoying our pain. This is hopeless. I'm a dead man.
Yeah.
I had no choice but to send another monster to his death. We were all going to die. I only hoped they would forgive me. After decreasing Red's health by a minuscule amount, Anguirus was also obliterated. Red unleashed a hail of blazing hot needles to his face until he collapsed. Another moment of unspeakable agony, then nothingness as my ally faded away.
Oh, that's his
I
name.
asked Red how he knew my name.
Yeah, I kind of forgot what this guy's name is until until Red said it. Thanks, Red. I killed Mufasa. Come on, you were thinking the same thing, right, guys?
For years, she was being tortured by something nobody understood. And now I knew what it was. Now I understood why I was mocked about Melissa's death, and how the game knew about it. Because he knew about it. Because he was the one responsible. And this time, he was going to kill me.
Yeah.
I was taken back to the board to send Godzilla to his final stand. Barely anything was left of the board. Just
Jeez.
Godzilla and Red's icon. And the fifth monster.
Yeah, how could you forget about
In the
this
midst
one?
of everything that was happening, I had completely forgot about it. I tried yet again to select it. I cursed. I begged. I screamed at it to do something. Anything to help me. To no avail.
Nope.
There was only one thing to do. Much like the previous monsters, Godzilla stood no chance. After releasing a wave of fiery flames from his hands, Godzilla's health was drained, and he too, like Mothra, was devoured.
Yeah!
I knew Godzilla
If
didn't
Orca
stand
couldn't
any more
eat
of a
him,
chance than
I
the
guess
rest
Red
did.
could.
But maybe now that all the other monsters were gone, the fifth monster might finally awaken.
No.
I managed to get the creature's icon selected, and I pressed the A button as fast as I could. The icon started to shake, as if it were trying desperately to move. It was then that Red decided he was done playing fair. And before I could activate the monster, he went for the killing blow, paralyzing my heart. My hands started to become numb and unfeeling.
This is bad.
But
Game
even as
over,
my
Red!
vision was
Game
fading,
over!
I still tried to press the A button. Red surely was breaking one of the rules. But he must have thought that if he could kill me quickly, then it would be too late for any consequences to matter. He would have won. He was wrong. Red's power was being challenged by an outside force.
What is this, a raid
It
going on?
prevented him from killing me. And when I regained my vision, I saw a familiar sight.
What? The angel?
We don't have much time.
Hello, Deus Ex Machina!
I am Melissa.
What? How is that possible? Red told me that he killed you.
It's true. Even after death, he tortures me. If you can't stop him, he'll do the same to you.
But how will I be able to stop him now?
I can't fight Red, but there is one who can. I will release him from Red's grasp.
You're sending an agent
Don't
to
give
hell?
up. I love you.
Okay,
Her
I'm
words stirred
completely
something inside of me.
baffled.
I wasn't going to die like this. And
Yeah,
I had more to fight
it went
for
from being a
than just
creepypasta
my
that
own
was
life.
scary to
I had to fight
defeating
to
a
save
major
Melissa
evil.
and the world she inhabits.
that
With
was
her
a
help, the fifth monster was finally
that was
unleashed.
practically just a whole
It was
180.
time to end this once and for all. We would take this damn hell spawn out of existence.
Yeah.
Acacius was by far the strongest playable monster in the game. He had to be if we had a chance of surviving. His punch involved turning his hands into blades, which caused tremendous damage. He also had the ability to fire lasers from his face, as well as star-like projectiles from his hands. And even the ability to fly, much like Solomon. Instead, he could levitate in the air. Red had more than enough life to spare.
Yes.
In the end, this would come down to pure skill.
Yes! Yeah, it's just showing the screenshots if I recall. Ugh.
And finally,
Well, no, you don't.
with one final strike, Red
Finish
was
him.
destroyed.
Jeez! Acacius wins! Fatality! He's gone.
We had done it. Melissa's death had been avenged, and I felt overwhelming happiness. Until I remembered all the death and pain that led up to this point. All the other monsters who had fought and died. I was about to mourn them, but the game had yet to conclude.
This. They're back, and hey, Face is back too! And
Tears
Solomon's
of joy
eyes are
streamed
now
down
different.
my face, and I broke out crying. I cried harder than I had in several years.
They're
Maybe
literally
in
just
my whole
looking at.
life.
This is like,
All I had been
okay, what's going
all
on?
I
I
had
thought we were
discovered.
dead.
And now the game was coming to an end. But before she and the others left, Melissa had something to tell me.
You have saved us. We are forever grateful.
Insert Toy Story
We'll
meme
be
here.
together again someday.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was practically the last chapter. I think. No, wait, no, there's an epilogue. Well, guys, all I can say is about this chapter, jeez, that struggle with Red was definitely a big one. But yeah, my only complaint about this is that Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, it was a creepypasta that practically went basically a 180 where it was just a battle between good and evil. That's my only complaint with this. And I remember just, oh god, why? Well, all I can say is, I wonder what would happen if Red were to face off against Omega Flowey. That would be interesting. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this, and if you excuse me, I've got a red demon to deal with. So, bye everyone.